Hello, everybody, and welcome to Week 8 picks of the 2019 NFL season. Week 7 was very, very kind to us, including starting Chase Edmonds and Marvin Jones in fantasy. Thank you very much, former bench warmers. But nonetheless, we went 11-3 in our picks and had our best week of the season, percentages-wise. So we're going to jump right on in and try and replicate that success. We're going to start with the first game of the week, that being the Washington Redskins at the Minnesota Vikings. I think you'd be crazy to not take the Vikings in this one. A lot of people are kind of hyping this up as like a Case Keenum revenge tour. I don't think that that's going to happen. Case Keenum didn't really do them any favors last week against the 49ers. I will say they played very well against the 49ers in that slop storm of a game. But nonetheless, the Minnesota Vikings are hitting a super stride. And I said last week, Kirk maybe had one more game in him there. It's a really good thing he's playing the Redskins this week, because if he wasn't, I might not be picking them, but for now, I'm going to take them. Let's say a score of 24 to 13. We got Seattle at Atlanta here. Seahawks versus the Falcons. The Seahawks let me down as a Browns fan. I really needed them to beat the Ravens, but we'll get to the Ravens are on a bye week. The Ravens did a very good job in that game, rushing the football, pressuring Seattle, being uber aggressive. Seattle needs to get back on their feet, and what better team to do that against than the Atlanta Falcons, who couldn't do jack against the Rams last week. I was not expecting that sort of ineptitude out of this team. Their offense is way too good and has way too much talent to play like that. It's very disappointing. I feel really bad for Atlanta fans everywhere. That being said, they also don't have Mohamed Sanu anymore. So, I don't expect this to be a fun game for Falcons fans. Enjoy your $2 hot dogs. Because you're going to lose by 20. 35-15. Chargers at the Bears. Well, I was right with the Titans, and they won in the weirdest way possible, but man, the Chargers just find any possible way to lose, don't they? I think this side of Cleveland and Detroit, the Chargers have found more ways to lose than anyone could ever fathom. And they're going to lose again this week. The Bears ran into a buzzsaw in the New Orleans Saints, which is a team that is still probably one of the best teams in the NFL, maybe the second or third best team in the NFC. That's a really good team. The Chargers are kind of losing people every single week. They just lost another offensive lineman to a broken leg. Mitch Trubisky played well in the back end of that Saints game. The Chargers defense is not nearly as good as the Saints defense. As far as the eye test goes, I'd have to look up the numbers to back that up. I'm pretty sure New Orleans defense is very, very good compared to Los Angeles Chargers defenses. So I'm going to take the Bears in a low-scoring affair in this one, 16-10. Giants at the Lions. Ooh, the Giants defense is bad. And the Lions defense didn't do them any favors either, and they just lost a safety to the Seahawks. I think this is going to be a very similar to the Vikings game last week. It's going to be points on points on points on points. I don't trust either defense, but again, I trust the Lions defense and honestly the Lions offense more. I think the Lions finally get back in the win column. They finally play a more complete game, and I think it's going to be to the score of 38-30. This is going to be a coming out game for Detroit, and hopefully for them, because they're a very good team as well, a trend of wins for them that they can get back into a playoff race in the NFC. The Giants aren't a bad team. They aren't as bad as Cincinnati or Atlanta or Miami. They're a rebuilding team. They're doing it the right way. Giants fans, have patience. This ship is going to get righted at some point. Jets at the Jaguars. Oh my goodness. What an egg the New York Jets laid on Monday Night Football. They are now candidates for the let's get through this game as quick as possible routine. Now, that being said, the Jags had some issues with the Bengals, but the Ravens did too. The Bengals are probably the best of those like really bad teams in the league. I still think the Jacksonville Jaguars get over that and they roll through this game. Not in the way of points, though, in the way of just like it's going to be like 23-10, but it's going to be the like least interesting 23-10 game you've ever seen in your life. Bengals at the Rams. The Bengals, again, are putting up fights against teams. They're staying in games. They're not getting blown out. But the Rams, coming off of that Atlanta game, smell blood in the water. They know they need to stockpile wins because they need to catch San Francisco. They need to catch Seattle. I almost said the Bengals. I think that the Rams are going to roll through this game, much like the last game, 33-10. Kind of just a complete butt whooping. Buccaneers at the Titans. This is a game I'm very on, but then again, I'm on most Titans games in general. I've gone back and forth on this one over and over and over again. I looked up some numbers. I found out that the Titans defense gives up a good amount of yards, about 329 yards a game so far this year, but they've given up like the 5th least points as far as defense goes in the NFL. They give up a lot of yards, but not a lot of points. What do the Bucs like to do? A lot of yards. They have issues scoring points sometimes, though. Because of this fact, and the fact that I like the Titans defense, and I don't trust Jameis Winston, I'm going to take the Titans again with Ryan Tannehill. Oh, man. This one might be wrong, though, but then again, it's the Titans. Does anybody really know what's going on with the Tennessee Titans? 26 to 21. Almost said 17. 26-21. Titans win this one. Eagles at the Bills. This is another game I'm kind of on, but I'm taking Buffalo. Buffalo, to me, is that team that doesn't kick the crap out of people, but they still beat you. They keep everything in front of them. They have overcome. They almost lost to Miami at some points, but I feel like that team knew they were going to win that game throughout the entire contest. They never thought they were going to lose that game. That's a very strong quality to have in a team. The Eagles are a little bit of a mess right now. I don't think there's a leader in that offensive locker room that's willing to hold people accountable, and it's starting to bleed over into their play. People are starting to call each other out. I think that's a very talented team, but they need to get it together, and Buffalo's not a good team to have to play when that is the scenario. So I'm going to take Buffalo on this one, 17-16. Defense will hold up late. Broncos at the Colts. Good for you, Colts. I had mentioned you had Houston's number. I should have rolled with that prediction. You proved me wrong. Very good for you. And in fact, I'm taking you again this week because, man, the Broncos couldn't lay a finger on Matt Moore, essentially. They knocked Patrick Mahomes out of the game. Well, no, that's the wrong way to put it. They didn't knock Patrick Mahomes out of the game. He got injured on a freak play. Nonetheless, you weren't playing against the reigning MVP and you couldn't do anything. What makes you think you're going to do anything against a team that is as sound defensively and consistent offensively as the Colts are? I'm going to take the Colts to win this one 31-17. That's a really high score for the Colts, in my opinion, but I think the Colts take this one pretty easily. Cardinals at the Saints. I feel really good for the Arizona Cardinals. They played some pretty bad teams, but they dominated them on the offensive side of the ball. They scored when they needed to score. They win games using that formula. They're running into the buzzsaw known as the New Orleans Saints, though. Whether it's Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Brees, I don't think that the Saints drop this game. That's not saying the Cardinals are a bad team. They're just playing, in my opinion, the second best team in the NFC. I am looking forward to see how the Cardinals play against a better defense because they haven't played a great defense in a couple of weeks now. But I think the Saints are going to keep it close and then win the game in the fourth quarter. Let's say to a final score of, well, the Cardinals defense is no good. The Saints defense is good. So I don't think they're going to give up a ton of points. Let's do 28-24. Saints win this one. Panthers at the 49ers. The 49ers rush defense is really, really good. I think that neutralizes McCaffrey. They're going to rely on Kyle Allen to win the game. It's not the position you want to be in if you're the Panthers. No matter how off the 49ers offense has been or may be, I think that their defense keeps them in this game. Final score of 17-13. And then we got the Raiders at the Texans. Houston dropped that last game. They probably shouldn't have, but they're going to come back on a revenge tour and decimate the Raiders. I think a final score of 35-21. It'll be a 2-touchdown win for them. Houston's a really good team. The Colts are a team that's had their number, that have beaten them a lot in the last couple of meetings, especially the more important ones. I think Houston looks this adversity in the face and overcomes it. The Raiders still a lot better than I thought they were going to be, but they're starting to come back to earth a little bit. Browns at the Patriots. I don't want to spend too much time on this one. The Patriots defense is so good. You can keep saying they haven't played anyone, but they don't write the schedule. They play who they play, and they've given up less than 7 points a game to this point. That's insane. They've given up less than a touchdown a game to this point. They're playing a Browns team that has not realized their potential offensively, or when they have realized their potential offensively, they die in the second half. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it'll be a really fun game to watch, Typically when Cleveland plays New England, they actually play them pretty well. The last couple of games, like 3 of the last 4 have been very interesting games. I'm going to say a final of 31-24. No, 31-21. I think they win by 10 because the fourth quarter pull away effect. I don't think Cleveland scores more than 21 points in this game, though, especially with how New England's defense is playing. All right, Sunday Night Football, Packers at the Chiefs. This was a game a lot of people circled on their calendars as being a great one. I would have picked the Chiefs had Patrick Mahomes not gotten hurt, but now it's Aaron Rodgers, baby. The bad man Aaron Rodgers rolling into Arrowhead. He's going to get it done, even though they're still down at wide receiver. I don't think the Chiefs replicate the defensive performance they had against the Broncos last week. I think the Packers do replicate their offensive prowess they showed against Oakland, just not to the same effect. I think maybe 4 touchdowns for Rodgers. Has a really good game. It's also a primetime game. It's really hard to go against Aaron Rodgers in these kinds of games. So I'm going to go with a final score of 34-28. That being said, the Chiefs offensively will still get points scored. They'll still play really well. But you're missing your quarterback, and that really hurts. Dolphins at the Steelers. I don't want to spend too much time on this one either. Now, given the Dolphins played really well against Buffalo, but Buffalo is the kind of team that will let teams kind of hang around. The Steelers kind of are of that team a little bit, but they've improved. They've played much better from that week 1 bludgeoning they got at the hands of the Patriots. I think the Steelers win this one. Mason Rudolph, Hodges, I don't care who plays. It's at home. I think the Steelers roll, and they win this game 35-17. I think it'll be pretty easy for them. And thank you again for watching my Week 8 picks in the NFL. Stay tuned next week for our Week 9 picks. At this present moment, record will be over here. We are 66-42 after that great week last week. Let's hope that we can build on that. The Twitter will be over here. Be sure you put down in the comments on any video suggestions or any ideas you'd like me to talk about or any points you'd like to discuss that I made in this video you're currently watching. Please be sure to subscribe and share the video and help build the channel, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you.